Hello and welcome back to Drawing for the Board. So, today's first lesson is going to be about lines. So, it's really important to be able to construct really confident and clean lines because depending on the style, the art style that you go into, for example, if you want to make comic books, or if you want to do architecture, it's really important that you have really good lines. The way that I draw, I actually don't care for lines, but if I decide to change up my style, there we go. So, for example, in this piece I was doing, I decided that I wanted to experiment with doing hard lines like inking, which is reminiscent of a more comic-y, cartoonish style. And then I put my flats and all that, and then color. But we'll cover that later. But yeah, this is where it's important to have really nice lines, and that's what I'm going to teach you guys today. So, line is one of the basic fundamentals of art. If you have very confident, strong line work, it can really make or break your drawing. So we're gonna go over things such as how to draw a straight line, straightish, straight enough line. And the thing, I'm trying really hard not to hold my stylus for too long, because this program does a thing where if I hold it, it'll actually create a straight line for me, but you guys don't have an iPad, just using pencil and paper. So I'm going to try my hardest to make sure we're on the same page here. You're going to always want to make strokes that go in one direction. You don't want anything to look shaky or do this thing called tending the line, which is it's when you go over the same line to make, because you think that you're going to mess it up. So you're kind of making the same stroke with your arm. Don't do this. What you want to do is make one confident stroke. And this takes practice. And you're gonna find that it's actually easier for you to make a confident line. These aren't straight, my hand is at an angle right now, but you're gonna find it's actually easier to draw a straight line depending on the angle that your hand is at. So this is an easy exercise that you could do with your pencil and paper. And the trick to doing this is to draw from your shoulder and your elbow. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I draw from the wrist. Right. So right now my hand is moving across the page. This is what it looks like when my arm moves across the whole page. See the difference? Never move your wrist if you want to make a straight line. Or just lines in general. It's actually easier to create lines like this when you're not moving your wrist. The only times that you would move your wrist is if you're doing little details, intricate things. You want to write something, or you want to. Right now, I'm moving my wrist around because, and my fingers a little bit. This takes a little more intricate action because of the nature of straight lines, which are much more rigid in structure than these squiggles. You shouldn't be moving around your wrist. And of course, obviously some of these aren't straight, but generally this is what you want to do. So now we know how to do straight lines, and yeah, feel free to pause this and just practice it. I'm going to go very slowly in this first lesson. Now that we know how to create straight lines, we're going to go over how to create smooth, confident, curved lines, right? Now, I know I just said to create something like this, this is when you would move your wrist, but I'm regarding size. So if you want to make large sweeping strokes or draw ellipses or circles, circles are actually a little difficult for even me to do when they're a certain size, but that's my circle when that's how I draw a circle without the assistance of this program. This thing is really intuitive, honestly. But yeah, so this is my basic circle. It's not perfect, but it's much better than if I were to use my wrist. There's a lot more room for error. So by actually restricting the movement of your hand, your lines are always going to come out much smoother, much more confident, and overall better. So I would practice, that was really bad. I would practice just making a bunch of strokes on a blank piece of paper, some straight. Don't be afraid to move the page around. You know, you don't have to work with the page just being straight like this. You know, flip it around as much as you want. I'm rotating the canvas on the program, but really you just, you know, whatever is comfortable for you. And you're gonna find that there is a direction that works best for you. For me, it's usually just straight left to right. And I can't really do it that well up and down. So what I do is I rotate the canvas. Okay. Point, drag, point, drag. You're dragging your entire arm from the elbow and from the shoulder. So now we know how to create lines. We know how to make straight lines, straight enough. We know how to make curved lines. You know, we can attempt to make circles so that our audience thinks that we know how to draw. Oh my god. Now we're going to talk about line weight. So line weight is definitely something that you should take into account. Is this the right? No, this isn't the right thing. Line weight is definitely something that you should take into account when drawing. This is much easier. There we go. This is easier to do with a pencil and paper, actually. So if I were to, like, why would line weight mean anything? Why does this matter? Well, line weight can do a lot of things. It's a signifier for if two objects are close to each other. Let's say that there's a cube, a pyramid, and a sphere. Let's put the sphere in front, actually. Jesus Christ. All right. And this is normal. Like, if you can't draw an object perfectly, definitely, especially a sphere, erase it and do it again. Like, there's nothing wrong with not getting it right the first time. It's really fine. Where was I going with this? We got our rectangular prism, a pyramid, and a sphere. Line weight would really make a difference when two objects meet. That is a little much, but I'm exaggerating just to show you. And right here would be the darkest part of the pyramid, because light is not reaching this corner. This corner right here, oh, can't see that. This corner right here of the pyramid is not going to be hit by the light. So you would imply that by using a heavier line weight. When you're sketching, you always want to use a really light hand. You want your hand to barely be touching the page. And this is why the exercises will help you, because if you have a really steady hand, you'll be less likely to have shaky lines when drawing lightly. If you're drawing lightly and you're drawing from the wrist, right? it's a lot harder to do both at the same time. See how I'm just lightly sketching? Oh, and it's still noticeably darker than all of the lines that I created here. If I were to do the same thing with a steadier hand, yeah, the lines are larger, but I can always erase and make the lines just, I can make these lines just as small as these. Oops. So this is with my wrist. And everything has a purpose to it, but for the most part, it's a lot better to do it this way. Everything's a lot more even, see? In the next video, where I talk about how to draw and create shapes, breaking down complex forms into basic shapes, and then you're building up detail from there. But yeah, so your homework, I don't want to say homework because that homework is disgusting. Your practice work is just to do some exercises like this and experiment with varying sizes, varying line weight. You know, if you're still doing sweeping strokes, you can do them harder, softer, a little bit smaller. You know, don't be afraid to do some. See, I even have to rotate because I can't do it with my hand at that angle. But yeah, don't be make a bunch of marks. Mark making is gonna be the first practice. So we're not gonna have any assignments yet, but what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna have a community-based art competition where everyone will submit their practice work and everyone will vote on which one they like the best, and we'll give out prizes based on who wins. But for now, this is just practice. But in the next one, I'll go into things more like this. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. If you stayed this long for whatever reason, appreciate it. And yeah, I really hope this first lesson was helpful. And I know it's very simple and I repeated myself a lot, but I think repetition is very necessary for understanding basic principles. And once you get this stuff down, everything else will be so much easier. So I really do hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Give me any feedback on what you want to learn in the future, and I'll find a way to work it into the curriculum that I've come up with. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and tune in for the next one.